Hey guys, it's Mia here and welcome back once again. It's nice to see ya. I don't know, I'm in a good mood. Anyway, I'm actually in pink for this video. What a shocker. I haven't been in pink in the last few episodes, but pink is my favorite color. If you can see my background, you can see some pink hiding around in there. So before I get into what I wanted to talk to you about today, I just wanted to let you know a heads up with the other reading video. That book is actually an ebook, so I won't be able to show the physical book like I did with the rest of these. So I'll put like a picture on the screen or something, but I won't have the physical book for that. Unless I get it for the library specifically for the video. I don't know if I'll do that though. Anyway, let's get into The Mark of Athena by Rick Riordan, the third book in the Heroes of Olympus series. Now, this book starts off pretty much exactly where the second book left off, with Annabeth, Piper, and Leo, and Jason all arriving in Greece on a huge warship, which Festus the dragon is kind of brought back as the head of the ship, like where they put the decorative mermaid or whatever. That's what Festus is. So he's kind of back, but not like himself. So yay. Anyway, so they arrive in Greece, and because they are in like this huge warship, it understandably puts the Romans, did I say arrives in Greece? They arrive in Rome, which understandably puts the Romans in like an anxious position. And the rivalry between the Greeks and the Romans was brought up in The Son of Neptune, but we actually get to find out the reason why the Greeks and the Romans seem to hate each other so much. It was honestly because of Athena and her jealousy of not being the only war god to the Romans. Athena got pulled out as the war god because they thought they needed a man instead of a woman to be their war god. So she was miffed at the Romans. So in order to get her revenge, that's what happened. That's why the Greek and Roman demigods have to be separated, and why they don't trust each other. And also because of Athena's jealousy, spanned a lot of wars. I really don't like Athena's attitude. You would think for someone that's the goddess of wisdom and battle strategy, she'd be a lot less egotistical, but whatever, I guess. So tensions are high when they finally arrive in Rome, and everyone is like ready to attack, and they're like saying, don't shoot us, I swear we come in peace, I promise we're not here to hurt you. And they're like, how can we trust you? You have this huge warship that is fully loaded, mind you, on our soil. Well, they don't technically land, but they still say on our soil. So, with tensions high, they try to tell them that they're not here to fight, and that they're only here to complete the prophecy of 7, which is 7 demigods from both the Greek and the Roman aspects coming together in order to basically save the world. And the prophecy of 7 is written out nicely in the Blood of Olympus, so I'm just going to read it off of here real quick to let you have a refresher. So, that's not it. It goes, 7 half-bloods shall answer the call, which is, of course, the 7 of them together, including Annabeth. To storm or fire the world must fall. Jason and Percy together can make the storm. Lightning and water makes the rainstorm. Fire is, of course, Leo, who has control over fire. An oath to keep with final breath, and foes bear arms to the doors of death, which will come into play, the doors of death. And there's oath to keep with final breath. So tensions are high. The Romans are ready to attack this ship. They don't believe the Greeks because they're liars and thieves, and they never existed to them. So they're ready to attack. And Leo goes, hang on, bring one of your people up here and we'll show them the ship. And while he was showing the person the ship, the ship fires on the Romans. So they're like, I knew it, you were liars. You just came here to hurt us, you just came here to attack us. So, yeah, that happens. And they have to get the heck out of old Rome, or New Rome, as fast as possible, with Annabeth, Percy, Hazel, and Frank in tow, who also came along because they were told they were part of this prophecy of 7, and they can't do this quest without them. So with a bunch of angry Romans on their tail, because Leo fired the Argo too, they hightail it out of there. And they don't look back. They're just like, we're gone, we're out of here. So they take off. And as long as they're on this ship, they are somewhat safe from the monsters that usually hunt demigods, because Leo put something on the ship that blocks that demigod energy that the monsters sense. So when they're on the ship, they can all be together with little to no issues. But they cannot get off the ship all at once. They cannot be in one place all together, because that'll bring a lot of monsters like bees to honey. So they have to basically split up into groups every time they have a quest to go to. So, like one of them, we split off with Percy and Jason and Piper? Yeah, Piper, because she was charm speaking. Piper's the one that can charm speak. And the same Eladon that possessed Leo to make him attack Rome also possesses, with one of his friends, Percy and Jason. And that's where the cover of the book comes in. Percy and Jason fighting because they were possessed. I'm not going to tell you who won. I'm not going to tell you what happened in that fight. Just know it had me on the edge of my seat, because I'm like, they're going to kill each other. Do something. So that was one of the issues. And then they all had to split off to do their separate quests. Leo getting to know the reason that Frank doesn't like him very much is because he's got this stick that his life depends on, and one wrong move from Leo could end Frank's life. Even though fire can kill anyone, That's my complaint about that stupid weakness. Fire can literally burn up anyone's life, but his more so than others. So that's why Leo and Frank don't really get along. Plus they both are fighting for Hazel's affection, and it doesn't really help that Leo looks exactly like his grandfather, who was Hazel's loved one. So there's tension there, and because of Leo's fire powers. And on top of that, Percy and Jason, my bad, Percy and Jason, being the two biggest heroes, or like the leaders of the Greek and the Romans, respectively, they are acting like a bunch of 6-year-olds, especially Percy. He's like, oh, he's better than me, oh, his sword skills are better, oh, I'll never amount to anything. He's a jerk, basically, because he's not the center of attention anymore. Percy's basically throwing a 6-year-old fit because he's not the center of attention. And that really made me not like his character in this, because you have much bigger issues to worry about than who's the better hero. You literally have this fate of the world to worry about, and you're whining and crying because you're not the center of attention. Get over it. Work together and do what you need to do. Who is the best hero is not important in this case. So that's another thing I really didn't like about this book, but for me it did not shut down the story any. I still gave this a 5 out of 5 because it's great. Then there's the whole thing with Nico, who was in this series back behind me. They have to find him because he is the one that will bring them to the doors of death. He's that part of the prophecy. The foes that are mentioned in the doors of death are, we haven't gotten to them yet, but they're guarding the doors of death in the mortal side, on the mortal side. So there's a big, huge army of evil waiting for them on the mortal side of the doors of death. So that's what that talks about. And with the doors of death and Nico was trapped. He disappeared. And Percy's been having these dreams where he sees Nico trapped in this huge bronze jar, sealed out of oxygen, not even looking like he's alive because he had to put himself in what he calls a death trance in order to not conserve so much oxygen. And he's only got like 1 seed a day to live on. And they have like 6 days to rescue him at best before they are royally screwed. So they have to rescue him. That's one of the biggest points in this book, is rescuing Nico, because if they don't rescue him, their map to the doors of death is gone. They have no way to do it without him, because once you get close to the doors of death, it pulls you in. And because he's a son of Neptune and stronger apparently than Hazel, he's the only one that can do it. So they need him in a big way in order to complete their quest. So they have to go and rescue him. Meanwhile, the Mark of Athena over here, Annabeth, has to strike out completely on her own. And she's following the Mark of Athena. And the reason she has to do this is to placate Athena's revenge and to get Athena's Parthenon back. And what a Parthenon is basically an altar, a shrine where they worship the god that the statue depicts. So they have to find that. Well, Annabeth has to find that and get it back. And there's another prophecy that comes into play with that. And it says, the son of Poseidon will drown, and you're woven in, or death by a woven jail or something like that. But so Percy kind of spends a lot of the book freaked out by his main element, water, because he's like, how can the son of Poseidon drown? And then Annabeth is also freaked out because woven jail, Spider's not liking Athena once again because of a jealousy trip Athena had, who she turned a better weaver than her into a spider because she couldn't take the fact that someone was better than her. I'm telling you, I do not like that. I do not like her attitude. She just ticks me off. Like, get over it. Anywho. So Athena has to face her biggest fear, spiders. And I might be a daughter of Athena because, whoo boy, every time one of the scenes with Annabeth came up on her quest, there was always something to do with spiders. And why do all of these type of stories have to have something to do with a spider? A giant ass spider? Can we stop putting those tropes in these books? Because it makes my skin crawl. Oh, you like, ugh, send shivers down my spine. So Annabeth has to strike out on her own, following the Mark of Athena, which is like this owl of wisdom. So she follows that in order to find the Parthenon, which ended up underground in the city of Rome, the actual Rome, I believe. So while the others are doing all their other quests and trying to rescue Nico, Annabeth is trying to find her mother's Parthenon to placate her anger. Meanwhile, our 2 giants that are holding Nico captive are lying in wait, waiting for Percy and whoever else shows up to get him. Because like I said, they all can't show up at once. They go in teams or in squadrons because of the monsters that are after them. All the while still being chased by the Romans, mind you. So they have that to worry about too. So our mini bosses, I guess you could call them, because all of these have mentioned giants. Our mini bosses this time around are 2 twin giants with snake feet. Those poor snakes. I never thought I'd say that, but those poor snakes. So they're the ones holding Nico captive. And once again, like in the other books, a god and a demigod have to work together in order to kill them. And this is another big gripe I had about the book, aside from Percy's I'm not the center of attention, boo-hoo me attitude, is the fact that the fight with the giants was so anticlimactic. It was like Percy and Jason were struggling. The giants had them on the ropes. The Dionysus, as he's known in Greece, I don't remember what he's called in Roman. Like I said, I know the Greek better than the Roman. But Dionysus, the wine god, was supposed to be the one that the giants were supposed to beat. So he was the one supposed to help Percy and Jason defeat the giants. But he just kind of sits there and watches them. And they're struggling. It's a good battle. Percy and Jason are finally working together and not caring who's the better hero. They're finally working together, and they're getting their butts handed to them. And he's just sitting there watching. And then all of a sudden he's like, okay, I've seen enough. You've proved it to me. Basically just snaps his fingers, and the giants are dead. Like, excuse me? You're gonna sit there on your butt, watch them nearly die until you think you've seen enough, and then just come in and Thanos snap them. Like, that's how fast he killed him. Like, if that's how fast a god can kill a giant, mind you, he didn't have Percy or Jason's help to do it. Well, kind of, I guess, because he took the lazy route and waited till they already kind of were dissolved by Percy and Jason. So I guess they helped. But he just comes in and goes, and they're dead. What? What? The fight with our mini bosses that was supposed to be one of the biggest parts of this book is over in a few pages, if that. Like, okay. Moving on, I guess. Yeah, but aside from that and Percy's attitude, I really didn't have many complaints about this book. I think as a team they worked really well, and they acted like normal teenagers. Like, there was a love triangle with Percy, Piper, oh my goodness. I'll get there. There was a love triangle between Hazel, Frank, and Leo. Because Leo looked like Hazel's long-lost lover. Because Leo was actually his great-great-grandson. But Hazel and Frank were already together, so that caused some tension there between those two, as well as Leo having fire powers and Frank's glaring weakness of a burning stick. Even though fire can kill anyone, it's more so damaging to Frank. So there's tensions two ways between those two. And again, between Percy and Jason, because the whole he's better than me, I'm not the center of attention, oh dear me thing, you know? So they worked really well as a team. Oh yeah, and Coach Hodge is there too, Hedge Hodge. He doesn't do much. He just kind of complains that he didn't get to whack people. I don't know why he needed to come along. I guess they need a chaperone, even though they're almost legally adults at this point. But he doesn't do much. So I think my favorite storyline in this, even though it made my skin crawl, was definitely Annabeth. But can we stop with the giant spider trope? Like, please, can we stop? Yeesh. Yeah, this book, unless you really, 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 really don't like spiders, is yet another great one in the series. I love this series, and I'm really excited to read both the Blood of Olympus and the House of Hades. And I know I said those out of order, but I have this book, so I picked that up first. So those are my thoughts on the Mark of Athena. And I'm really excited to get into the House of Hades and finish this series. So I don't know when that'll be. I know it seems like it takes a long time between each of my reviews, but as always, if you guys enjoyed, be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell down below to stay up to date on future videos. Hope you guys enjoy your reading. Bye, guys.